This is 7-5 Radio with Walter Yerkew and Peter Scoop Stanton. This is the radio show that will break your neck, if your neck needs breaking. And here are the hosts of 7-5 Radio, Walter Yerkew, star of the biggest documentary movie ever made, The 7-5, and Peter Scoop Stanton, who starred in To Catch a Predator.
Yep. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, one and all. This is Peter Scoop Stanton with Walter Yerkew on 7-5 Radio on the Liberty News Radio Network. Check us out, 75radio.org, 75radio.org. We are red hot and rolling on this Saturday, November 19th, 2022. Walt, how are we doing tonight, my friend?
Is it the 19th already?
Yes, it is, sir.
I'm doing okay. I guess I'm doing okay if it's the 19th already.
Yep, it is November the 19th, 2022. I am currently at the National Law Enforcement Memorial at the Judiciary Square between 4th and 5th Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. Anyways, we also want to welcome the men and the alleged women of the Yanadas, New York Fire Department, also known as the Cellar Savers, up there in Methlab County, New York. Stay safe, one and all. As usual, first order of business, we want to remember the men and women in the law enforcement community who were murdered in the line of duty. Tonight, we remember Marine Interdiction Agent Michael O. Maceda of the United States Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection, Air and Marine Operations. End of watch Thursday, November 17th, 2022. Agent Masada and two other of his colleagues were doing drug interdictions off the coast of Puerto Rico. They boarded a vessel. Shots were fired, and all three members of the interdiction team were hit, as well as the bad guys. And fortunately for the guy that shot Officer Maceda, he is no longer with us. Anyways, moving right along, next order of business this week in Los Angeles, California, a group of recruits from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office was doing a outside run where you have about 70 a class. You want to run outside carrying a flag, let everybody know who they are. Anyways, some person saw this group of recruits that's going to protect the people of Los Angeles County and ran them over with his automobile. 25 people were injured, many of them serious, many bones were broken. Some people lost some body parts. So luckily you had people already there to put this guy in jail. Unfortunately, in this day and age, and with body cameras, there's no tune-ups to be had. Anyways, 22-year-old Nicholas Joseph Gutierrez was charged with attempted murder of a peace officer. So, anyways, he went to jail, but it gets worse. This piece of garbage, who should not be on this planet, was released from jail. Let me say that one more time. Guy runs down 25 recruits of a law enforcement academy. He's arrested on scene. He did that on purpose. He had no drugs or alcohol in the system after post-incident testing. He goes to jail. But in California, a person can be released from custody if there's insufficient grounds to file charges. Which I say, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. You have 75 witnesses. You have people arrested on scene. You have it on CCTV camera. This car running down these poor future heroes. And he is released under California law for insufficient grounds. Now, he will face trial. He will face his accusers. He will be formally charged. But he is out on the streets because California laws. But you get more what you vote for. Well, what say you about this horrendous incident?
Yeah, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible. When I was in the academy, and you also, whether you're standing on the muster deck or out on the front, there's 300 recruits standing there, in formation. Anybody driving by could throw a freaking grenade and just blow you to pieces, and we thought about that, how secure are we? At that point, I remember, a lot of the instructors were, unless they were physical education instructors, a lot of them were just, flabby and couldn't take 10 minutes on a Stairmaster out of shape. So
Right.
who the hell is going to save us? So, I understand that, when you're out in public like that, you're open to these buttholes, whatever you want to use, whatever adjective you want to use, you're open season and out in the open for an attack such as this. And of course, this attack on, like you said, our future heroes, didn't really make a whole lot of headlines. It was an honorable mention here and there, but, no coverage. It's just a shame that, we live in this day and time. You also mentioned the proverbial tune-up that didn't happen because of cameras and CCTV and such. I remember, after there was a fellow a long time ago, he jumped on the back of a foot post officer in East New York. And let me tell you, all of a sudden when we grabbed him, he became religious because he kept kissing the sidewalk on the way to the station house.
Right.
That was his way of praying to the Lord, kissing the sidewalk on the way to the station house.
Right.
And of course, he blamed us for working him over or something. But he wasn't in handcuffs or anything. So he wanted to practice his religious freedom, and we helped him.
Right.
Well,
we're not right. We're not saying we're just going around just beat people up to beat people up. You have an obvious situation. This maggot ran down these people, just go out for a jog, becoming a very productive member of society, and whatever beef he has with law enforcement, he has to mow him down. Now, yesterday with my other successful job, Uber, I was talking to a local law enforcement member, very nice guy, and I was talking to him about tune-ups, mechanics, things of that nature. It's like, oh, no, we can't talk about that. We can't do that. Oh, we do that, we're in big trouble. I mean, this is where we are today. We've been talking this about years. Airmail's coming back. Cops are getting doused with water. And, unfortunately, these people just have to sit there and take it, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's why people are not taking the job. I can bet you almost everybody from that class at the Sheriff's Academy is going to leave. But anyways, we're coming to our first break. When we come back, talk about the situation with the FTX cryptocurrency in Ukraine. Also, the poop show with the midterm elections and the reemergence of Donald Trump. Stay tuned, everybody. We're just getting warmed up.
The spirit of the American West is alive and well in Range Magazine, the award-winning quarterly devoted to the issues of the American West. Each issue contains informative articles, breathtaking imagery, as well as the culture of cowboy spirit today, and gift ideas, like this year's Buckaroo calendar. Order online from rangemagazine.com. Loving Liberty Network salutes the spirit of the American West at rangemagazine.com.
This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
The Epoch LocalHoneyManTimes.com.
Have you ever had great honey? No, I mean really good, all-natural, raw honey? Well, now you can, thanks to LocalHoneyMan.com. We can ship out our locally made honey all across the U.S. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Plus, Local Honeyman has so many different flavors, like Utah Wildflower, High Desert Delight, Happy Valley, and Blackberry, just to name a few. So purchase your delicious raw honey today at LocalHoneyman.com.
Do you treasure your liberty? Well, at lovingliberty.net, we most certainly do. And we want to help protect your liberty too. Become part of the family. Everyone knows that the core of any society is the family. Therefore, the government should foster and protect the integrity of its family, we the people. Won't you join us as a Loving Liberty sponsor to help us promote the principles in the 5,000-year leap? Let's restore the miracle that changed the world at lovingliberty.net.
You're back, and Scoop is just getting back from posting insults on Twitter. This is still 7.5 Radio.
And we are back. Scoop Stand with Walter Yerke on 7.5 Radio. Once again, check us out at 75radio.org. Now, earlier, Walter and I were having a great conversation about Ukraine, and just something is rotten in, Ukraine. Billions of dollars, just nobody knows where it goes. Then you have this cryptocurrency outfit that took in billions of dollars and gave it to Democrats, and nobody's saying a flipping word. Take it away. What's your thoughts on the situation in Ukraine?
My thing is, just a couple of months ago, they're sending, $43 billion to the Ukraine. Now, back then I questioned it. Okay, well, who comes up with that number one, and relays it to, the pedophile to say $43 billion is going over there? Who relates it to that person? And then when somebody makes a stink about it, you had, Nancy Pelosi, pretty much telling the American public it's none of your damn business. It's none of my business. But if you got $43 billion to send over to the Ukraine, who really don't need it because they have an army and they have equipment, and they're defending themselves pretty damn good, why don't they distribute the $43 billion amongst the 51% of the American people that are working for a living and give it back to us instead of giving it away? Trillions of dollars. We have trillions of dollars, and we have, trillions of dollars in deficit. We still give $1 trillion away. That war in the Middle East, cost us hundreds and thousands of trillions of dollars, according to the reports, and it came out of the mouth of the politicians that were in charge of it. Straight from Bush to Obama to Trump, and now to this jack off. The issue that I have is Biden left how many billions of dollars in American military equipment behind?
8.
The Ukrainians could have just, Biden should have said, hey, Ukrainians, the stuff is over there. All you got to do is get it. You can have it, But no, we'll send them money. For what, though? For what? There's no menu. Who's getting it? When $43 billion is sent to the Ukrainian government into their account, is it like a draw? Do they draw, $500 million and tell us what they spent it on, and then get another $500 million? You know what I get? Because that's only $1 billion. Now that's got to happen in, another 84 times. Now that's just an example, $500 million at a time. What are they spending it on? They're not manufacturing anything. They already have it. It's not like our boys in World War II were all overseas fighting a war, and we had our female population, making the missiles and the bombs and the bullets and the guns and the tanks and putting all this stuff together. That's not the way it is over there in the Ukraine. Reagan saw to it that they had their own army, they had their own stuff, they had their own machines, they had their own fighting force and such. It goes back, 40 years. Now, where is this billions and billions of dollars going? Who's getting it, and who's deciding on what it's being spent on, if it's being spent? We send money overseas, and Mr. Trump made a big point of this during his administration, that, yeah, you're our allies, but when we help you, you have to pay us. That's the deal. You have to pay us. So are we going to get that $43 billion back, plus interest back, and plus what they owe us for helping them out to begin with? How is that working? It's left an open-ended sentence or statement. We're sending $43 billion over there, but nobody knows. Are we getting it back? Why do we have so much money? Why do we have so much money in surplus to send to an ally? Let's call it an ally, besides another country. Why do we have that much money just laying around doing nothing? And then, every couple of years you got, a president saying, here's $600. We're going to send you $600. And then they raise the prices, they raise your taxes, they raise your property taxes. We pay more in gas tax more than, those 2 checks that we got from Biden in the beginning. I still have them. They're in the account. I haven't touched that $1,200 because I know they want it back. And when they want it back, I'll give it to them. But I'm not going to touch it. So where's all the money going in the Ukraine? You don't hear much about the war and fighting and loss of life and buildings and things like that anymore. You have refugees, but you don't hear much about what's going on over there anymore. Why? Is nothing being fired upon at each other? Is it now a chess match? What's Putin doing? What's going on over there? So my question is, where is all this money going? Or, are we paying people off not to fight now? Is that it? Because I don't see much in the way of, they'll send a bomb over every once in a while and blow something up, something semi-important. But I don't see the point of sending $43 billion to a war that we're not involved in physically. We don't have boots on the ground. And why send it at the beginning of the war? I mean, the war just started, right? I mean, it's not a year old. And they've already gotten $100 billion from the United States. But for what? That's my question. For what? Mr. Biden, for what? Is it to cover Hunter's prostitute bill? What? What's going on?
It is dope bill. But anyways, according to Slate News, as we're giving billions to the Ukrainian government, the Ukrainian government is allegedly siphoning it through to FTX, the cryptocurrency outfit that spent millions of dollars on Super Bowl ads. And then once it hits the cryptocurrency outfit, some of it was the CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, gave a couple billion to cover his girlfriend's financial outfit, which helped with the downfall. But $40 million of this money that FTX got not from, who's to say if it came from Ukraine or not, we don't know because nobody's opening the books. $40 million went to Democrat candidates, which is only second in donations to George Soros. And then today, I was doing some research, what's his name, Maxine Waters, said, well, just because he gives us money doesn't mean we don't regulate him. But anyway, she's another one. She's in the Biden-Fetterman mess. So she's justifying that, like, listen, the guy gives us money, we're still going to put the screws to him. But we all know that's Bravo Sierra. So you got the billions of dollars we give them to Ukraine. Ukraine gives God knows how much to FTX, God knows how much to everybody else, because we don't know where it goes. And then FTX funneled some of that $40 million worth back to the Democrats, and the Democrats just look away. This is gangster money laundering, just pure and simple. And the Democrats who who sit on all the committees, run all the committees until January, they just sit there with their hands tied because they got the handout from Mr. Bankman-Fried. And also coming up in a couple of days, they have this New York Times putting this seminar on at Lincoln Center that has not only the president of Ukraine, but also Mr. Bankman-Fried at the same seminar. So it's very, very interesting. But and then the media, of course, they're already putting out the so-called fact checkers or liars, and they're saying that it's false. It's false that Ukraine is not giving FTX money. Well, how come reports came out last week from numerous sources, including Michael Savage? He's the one that broke the story, saying that FTX is getting money from Ukraine. And the media, instead of doing their due diligence and investigating this story, they're saying, "Oh no, it's false." Because guess why? The Democrats are involved. And it seems that every time the Democrats get involved in something, it turns to crap. And then also, notice it's very convenient. As this story is breaking with FTX, a missile lands in Poland. And everybody thought it was, including myself, thought it was the beginning of World War III. Russians are getting involved. But Putin's not that stupid. It turns out that Ukraine launched a missile into Poland. And we still don't know why. Because they're too busy covering up for everybody. And when we come back, we'll talk about the mess that is the midterm elections and Donald Trump coming back. Stay tuned, everybody.
Your daily Liberty News Wire. You're listening to Liberty News Radio. USA Radio News with Kenneth Burns.
Another foot is expected overnight in western New York from a lake-effect snowstorm that has already dumped several feet on the region. A travel ban has been lifted for much of Buffalo. Mayor Byron Brown says about 70 pieces of equipment were in South Buffalo hauling snow out of the area. He's asking drivers to stay off the roads in that part of the city.
If you come out, you run the risk of getting stuck and really hindering our plowing operation and our snow removal operation.
The region remains under a state of emergency. The Buffalo Bills game against Cleveland will now take place in Detroit. Theranos CEO Elizabeth Holmes was sentenced to more than 11 years in a federal prison. She was convicted earlier this year of misleading investors on her company's blood testing equipment. Before she was sentenced, Holmes tearfully told the court that she is devastated by her failings. Theranos' former operating officer, Seni Balwani, will be sentenced next month for his fraud conviction. Former President Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago Friday night, reacting to the announcement of a special counsel being appointed to oversee the Justice Department investigation into the presence of classified documents at his Florida estate.
I thought the investigation with the document hoax was dying or dead or over, and the investigation into January 6th in my very peaceful and patriotic speech, remember? Peaceful and patriotically.
Veteran prosecutor Jack Smith was named to the appointment. He has been the chief prosecutor for the special court in The Hague since 2018. Smith's appointment comes after Trump announced his campaign for a second term. Tesla is recalling more than 300,000 vehicles in the U.S. due to a software glitch that can make the taillights go off intermittently. The automaker says an online software update will fix the problem. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wow, you're still listening? Here's more 7-5 Radio.
And we are back, Scoop Stanton with the great Walter Yerkew. Anyways, we want to talk about the mess that is or was the midterm elections. First, I want to talk about Chuck Schumer. This is another story that fell down the memory hole. Chuck Schumer wants to grant at least 11 million illegal aliens amnesty because he says we have a population that is not reproducing on its own to the same level that it used to be. Well, I'm going to go in some detail. You can check it out on 75radio.org about why we are not reproducing at the levels we used to. And it's all because of these leftist, pinko, commie, America-hating, backstabbing Democrat phonies. Anyway, some reason why we don't have the usual rates of replacement or births, people getting jiggy with it. First thing is technology. Okay, thanks to various forms of birth control, women are not getting pregnant. But that's a drop in the bucket. Anyways, decline of the morals. Women stopped getting married and had kids and just flipped around. Then again, birth control that came on the scene. It was cheap and readily available. And then divorce became quick, easy, and painless. Next, you have the women's movement. In the 1970s, women were taught that becoming a wife and mother, staying home, raising a family is old-fashioned. Women should have a career. They should go out earn the money. They don't need a man. So, anyways, 50 years later, home economics was removed from the schools, and we have women and men who can't cook, do laundry, or balance a checkbook. And with women entering the workforce, Pat Buchanan correctly stated that wages went way down because the amount of people entering the workforce has doubled, and making our labor less valuable. Anyways, then you have the rigged economy. Years ago, you had a guy graduate high school, went down to the factory, got a job, got married, had kids, bought a house, bought cars, went on vacation, and had a couple dollars in the bank, did not go into debt with one job. Now, you have people making $150,000 a year, living paycheck to paycheck, including yours truly. That's because, again, it's a rigged economy. And then you have homosexuality. Up until the 1960s, homosexual was kept in the dark. If you're gay, you kept it to yourself, and society did not promote it. People were encouraged to get married and have kids. Now you have police cars supporting gay pride, schools flying a gay pride flag, and bringing in homosexual books that are very graphic, borderline pornographic. Then you have televisions and movies that cannot have enough gay characters or gay acts of homosexuality. Anyways, with gay people, the parts don't match up to create a life, so they can't have kids. But then you have people like Pete Buttigieg. Him and his partner rented a woman's womb and had a couple kids. But finally, abortion. For the left, abortion is a holy sacrament like baptism or matrimony. But for 50 years, there was approximately 900,000 abortions per year, which is 45 million people lost. And that 45 million people would have kids, and they would get married, have kids. And so you're looking probably, if we did not have abortion, probably a population of 500 million people. But anyways, Schumer wants to give 11 million plus a free pass. These people are not all computer engineers, chemical engineers. They're not computer programmers. They're not carpenters, plumbers, electricians. These people have no job skills. They speak little or no English, illiterate, and will not be part of the American dream. Anyways, the whole country is falling apart, and Schumer wants to bring more problems in. And you can guarantee that they will not live in this neighborhood. Well, real quick, any words on Schumer's idea of 11 million more problems coming in?
Well, it's Chuckles. He's been doing this for years, and he stands there. He's got his glasses on the end of his nose and looks out over him, at what he feels are his subjects. That's about what he looks like when he talks to you or talks to anybody when he's doing a press conference. I just don't think Chuckles is going to last much longer either. Nobody's been paying attention to him except maybe Nancy for a little bit, but once the House is set up in a conservative way, Chuckles will have a big mouth, but it's going to fall on deaf ears when it swings over to the bright side instead of the dark side. People are going to start realizing, even the diehard liberals, they're going to start realizing that what they've been living with is just smoke and mirrors, and they'll snap out of it.
Well, hopefully, because hopefully that's going to be my point, because with the midterms, you thought the gas prices, the inflation, the crime in the streets, the FBI going after parents in the schools teaching homosexuality, you would think we'd have both houses of Congress, but nope. And but after right after the midterms, I watched the movie 2,000 Mules, and I deducted that we once had the most efficient and secure voting systems in the world. Now it's about the Soviet Union. So, and then people in the state of New York, which had been absolutely decimated with taxes and crime and regulation and just a very awful business climate and people moving out in droves, every county voted for Lee Zeldin except Buffalo, Rochester, and of course New York City. So it's funny as could be. It's funny because like New York City it looks something out of like Black Hawk Down or a sheet from New York. But for some reason, the people of the 5 boroughs said, "Oh, well, we'll keep Kathy Hochul. She's done nothing for New York, and she gave the owner of the Buffalo Bills a sweetheart deal for a new stadium." And our blood's running the streets, and the cops can't leave the police department fast enough. So we'll keep it. We'll vote for the Democrats. So anyway, so you had that, and then you had Arizona. You had the fraudulent votes, the voting machines. Maricopa County, which is in the Phoenix area, they had problems with voting machines again. 2020, you had problems with the voting machines that didn't work or didn't register, and now it's like they hired the guy from the movie Casino, the slot machine manager from the Tangiers Hotel, to run the voting machines in Maricopa County. And you had this Carrie Lake, who is very articulate, very bright, very smart, very easy in the eyes. She's been in Arizona homes for 20 plus years. A member of the media, comes out with a great plan what she wants to do to help the people of Arizona, running against the Secretary of State, who I call the cat lady. She has no plan. She had no campaign, and refused to debate because she knows she's going to get smoked. So all of a sudden, the election results come for Arizona. And of course, good old Maricopa County came through again, and the cat lady won Arizona. And the problem with Arizona is that this was once a Barry Goldwater country. Now all these people, these expatriates from California, they voted themselves into desperation, so they moved to Arizona. So Arizona's turned blue because of the what from across the border in California. So we got that going on, and then we barely won the House, which is just totally embarrassing. And you had, and then for the leadership on the Republicans, the senators voted for Mitch McConnell again. Well, is Mitch McConnell a crime boss or something? Does he have files on these people? Why would they keep voting for this dude?
I don't know. He's another one of these guys now. On the conservative side, that is showing his age, and when you get to a certain point, you need to step aside. I'm all for limited terms at all levels. They did it for the president, after Roosevelt's 14 years or 12 years, whatever the hell, 14 years he had, right? He had 3 terms, something like that. Anyway, you got to limit the terms on these people. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're going into their 80s and 90s, serving as a public servant. Holy cow! They have nurses attending to their personal needs.
They got the pens.
Yeah. Well, it's no shame to have them, but I mean, if you're going to be in such an office, I don't care if if that's what the problem is, but when you're beyond and out of touch of what's happening now, instead of ragging on what's gone wrong the past 2 years, or 5 years, or 10 years, or 20 years, you got to step aside.
Right.
You got to step aside.
Well, that's DC and that's. Anyways, we'll come back. We'll talk about Trump and Dave Chappelle. Stay tuned, everybody. Certified Radio.
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
Do you know what is great about America? Ask an Immigrant. Ask an Immigrant is a new podcast dedicated to helping Americans, especially our youth, value, appreciate, and be grateful for the freedoms we have here in America. Join host Lydia Wallace-Nuttall as she interviews immigrants from around the world to discover their inspiring personal stories about why they came to America. To learn more about why America is the most prosperous, greatest country in the world, download the Loving Liberty app or go to lovingliberty.net.
Small Business Tech Guys is a team of experts ready to assist you with any service relating to growing your business. Our team specializes in information and technology, social media, general consulting, and HR. We thrive on assisting startup entrepreneurs with growing their businesses. If it's small business, it's our cup of tea. To schedule your free discovery call today, consider sbtechguys.com. We keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. sbtechguys.com.
Have you ever heard of Loving Liberty Ladies? Well, the Loving Liberty Ladies are here to help you learn our American heritage and the way it affects today's society. The Loving Liberty Ladies also have a discussion guide called Proclaim Liberty. And with this guide, you can start your own group in your hometown. Get yours today on our website at lovingliberty.net. Look for our lesson supplements, too. They're free. To hear all the special offers and to join the fight for freedom and liberty, please go to lovingliberty.net.
This is 7.5 Radio with Walter Yuku. Walter Yurkow. Walter Kiwi. Here's Walton Scoop.
And we are back. Scoop Sanders and Walter Yurkow on the fastest hour in radio. Can't believe we're at the last segment, so we better speed things up. Anyways, the 45th president of the United States, Donald John Trump, has decided he is running for president again. Tuesday, he gave a speech at Mar-a-Lago. It's much more mellow than we're used to seeing. And the left better indict him and put him in jail or do something before 2024. Now, what's funny is that Trump announced that he's running for president again. And then all of a sudden, boom, the Department of Justice has a special prosecutor going after Trump again. It never ends, folks. This is your tax dollars at work. We have fentanyl coming in by the truckload. We got guns coming by in the truckloads to Southeast Washington, D.C., which is a very small area. Borders are wide open. Crime, people getting shot in the street look like that. Black Hawk Down. And the Department of Justice is going after, again, a former president. Now, I know back in the day, we used to respect our former presidents, even though we disagree with them. But no, not this time. This is 2022 in a nutshell. But I have mixed feelings about Trump. I supported him all the way. We did everything we could to get him elected. I supported him. I put Trump signs in my car. I argued with people over Trump. But, he is damaged good with all the foolishness with January 6th, which is not his fault, and just going after other people, and including his fellow Republicans. He was at a campaign rally, and he called Ron DeSantis Ron DeSantimonious. People were like, ooh. My feeling is like, maybe it's time for DeSantis to step up. He has a lot less baggage than President Trump. So who knows? But then again, going back to our last segment, you might have a Trump DeSantis ticket in the promise to, the sun, the moon, and the stars. But who's counting the votes? The whole country will look like Maricopa County, Arizona, look like Detroit, look like Atlanta, look like Philadelphia. I mean, go watch 2,000 Mules. You'll see the how bad it is, and nothing's being done. No DOJ investigation on voting. But God forbid, you can't do anything about voting because black people can't vote or some foolishness without ID. What's your thoughts on Donald Trump coming back into the limelight?
Well, it's like this. He's what, 77, 78?
76.
So that means 76. So when this rolls around, he'll be 78, into the 80s again. You know what I just said a little bit ago. Age has a lot to do with things. At this point, for me, it would be okay if he was elected again. It would be, it would be fine. However, on the flip side, I think he would make a better cabinet member or an advisor, okay, in certain respects that of what he did in his presidency. Namely, the financial stuff, the gas, okay, the tariffs, the taxes that are owed to us, from other countries and such. He would be good with that, and somebody like, let's just throw Ron DeSantis in there because he just happens to be in the headlines these days. Have him as a president with a good vice president, somebody other than named Mike Pence, and have someone in there, that would work alongside, as a second family, second in charge, with Donald Trump on this other stuff that the first ladies are supposed to be doing, like the insurance thing. You remember the insurance thing that Bill Clinton handed over to Hillary in '93? She was supposed to revamp the whole damn thing, and it got so screwed up that they just hoped it would go away. Nobody would ask questions about it, and they didn't ask questions about it until Obamacare came around. So I think Mr. Trump would be a good advisor in the financial respect. Would he still be a good president? Yeah, mostly. He wasn't the greatest president that he could have been. His hands were, tied up most of the time by impeachment proceedings and also nonsense, ridiculousness they threw his way. So if he's president, expect more of that, even from the lowest part of the House, since, Nancy's gone and Chuckles, won't have anybody, to watch his back. So I think, Mr. Trump announcing, I feel that it was too soon to announce. April, May of next year would have been time enough to announce his candidacy for president. I just think he's a little bit too gung-ho this time. Last time he was patient about it. So I don't really know if he made the right move announcing it so quickly after, the elections. I guess he feels that Ron DeSantis is going to stay, governor of Florida and not, throw his hat into the ring. since he just won re-election. So he's playing a lot of odds right now. So Jimmy the Greek is dead, so you can't really find out what the good odds are on Trump, winning the next presidency. And if he does and he wins, he'll be just the second man in history, the second person in history to be reelected, to 2 terms, skipping a term.
Right.
And maybe you know the answer to this question. If he wins in 2024, can he run in 28?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because he already served 2 terms. Well, I'd have to.
No, he only served 1 term as 45.
Well, what does the Constitution say? Because Grover Cleveland, served.
I'm not sure. That's one of those amendments that are in the 20s. Like 20. Like the 23rd Amendment or the 28th Amendment or some damn thing or
Right.
another. I'm not sure what that goes. So I don't know.
We'll have
maybe Ron DeSantis will pick him as vice president if DeSantis wins the whole kit and caboodle. You never know.
Right. Because here's the thing.
Before I never in all my years of familiarity with politics, I don't remember presidents being as common as they are now picking vice presidents, to be their running mates, who they debated against and called them names on, during the debate, and then they picked them as vice presidents.
Well, you forget about 1980 with Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush.
Well, nobody ever took George H. serious, and I was really shocked, that he was asked to be vice president. I think it was about the money,
Right. Well,
Bush has got 10 times as much money as the Kennedys, so.
Right. It was also politicking because they went to at the convention, the Reagan camp, the Bush camp, sat down with the bosses from the GOP and hammered out something. Like, all right, Reagan will take it 2 terms, and Bush you can have it for another 2 terms. And look what happened. But
if it wasn't for Perot, George H. would have had 2 terms.
Right. But as much as I support independent candidates, I don't know. We got to do something. But anyways, real quick, last week on Saturday Night Live, legendary comic Dave Chappelle laid it all on the line and talked about the one hot button issue you cannot talk about in public. But we talk about all the time here on 75 Radio. We talk about the Jews. But Chappelle started his monologue reading an apology and standing by his Jewish friends. And then he stated that a note like Chappelle just read could have brought Kanye West some time. And you know what? Dave Chappelle is right on point. And God forbid if you offend the Jewish community, you have to grovel to keep your keep your livelihood up and running. But my thing is that when did Jews become such a protected class? I mean, we can criticize everyone except certain groups. We can't talk about blacks and Hispanics and women and gays. But God forbid you talk about Jews. We can criticize Muslims more than we can criticize Jews. And then look at all the hate towards the Christians and Muslims after 2001 and other groups. But anyways, you can't say anything slightly negative against the chosen people or you will suffer the consequences. I mean, again, what makes these people better than everybody else? We're all human and we all suck. But here's a question. If the Jews don't have all the power, like people say they do, then how is Kanye West's empire just fall completely apart in a week? Well, you got any comments about Dave Chappelle?
You know how I am. I don't care if somebody's Jewish or Puerto Rican or anything. If somebody's saying something against their their heritage or their nationality, there's got to be some basis, some grounds for defending it. Now, as far as the Jewish population goes, they make jokes about themselves. You know, and you know, most of the people in Hollywood in the 30s and the 40s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, you know, a lot of them were Jewish. And they would make jokes about themselves. You know, Buddy Hackett was the leader of the pack with that. So, you know, it is what it is.
Right. And we support offending everybody. But anyways, well, Walter Yerke, this is Peter Scoop State. We made another week. Remember, you can make a difference. Go out and make it, everybody.
This is James Edwards for 7-5 Radio. For those who work the streets and the jails, thanks for keeping us safe. So long, everybody.